Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us. Um, yeah. So yes, people are coming in. Okay, guys. Thank you for being here with us. My name is Jessica Morgado. I'm a senior HR consultant at Precision Recruitment International, and I'm here with my special guest, Mayra Andrade. He is a cost estimator and quantity surveyor consultant. So to start, I would like to I would like to apologize you first because we had some technical problems and we had to redirect you guys for this for another page. But thank you for managing to be here with us. If you have any comments, any question, you can send it as a message and we will see it. Okay? Thank you. So, to start, we chose to bring this topic to you because we realize that oil and gas sector has grown very fast in this 10 to 15 years, and many companies and project developers increase the need to include the local content on their project. So with this said, we are going to focus on our local talent, our people, our human capital that has knowledge and is connected to develop the Mozambican job market. And that's why we bring Maíra to join us in this conversation. So to start, Maíra, I'd like to understand from your perspective, and since that you are working in the civil engineering sector that supports the oil and gas project, and how do you think this sector has changed in the past years, and what do you predict will happen in the next 5 years?
First of all, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. And before going to the last 5 years and the next 5 years, I think it's relevant to mention that the Mozambican oil and gas industry has existed for over 60 years now. In contrast to what it may be the general public's belief that it has only emerged in the last 10 to 15 years. Well, in my opinion, in the next 5 to, let's say, bordering 6 years, I think one of the most important breakthroughs was the approval of the petroleum law in 2014. Because before then, things seem to be in a limbo. I'm speaking in regards to the early construction works that were expected to happen. And once the law was approved, it served as a framework for the main operators and the main players to abide to. And after that, we basically got the green light for the advancement or commencement of the project. Well, since then, we've seen many good things. We've seen investment pouring to the country. We've seen companies foreign companies establishing themselves or choosing to establish themselves for the first time in Mozambique, in Pemba and Palma, to be in the forefront and to be able to cater for the market expectations of these developers' expectations. We've seen the construction of the resettlement. We've seen the construction of the airstrip. Um, we've seen the pioneer camp construction. I think about 2 or 3 months ago, there was a bid because there's still a procurement stage undergoing a bid for the LNG trains construction. So probably those works will commence next year at some point. Um, Not this year. This year has been a bittersweet year because, as you know, we're all feeling it. Excuse me. Yeah, the pandemic, unfortunately, has delayed some of the operations. For example, Total, even though they managed to secure, which is it was good news this year, very good news, to secure about $15 billion out of the FID's 20 billion. Even Total saw some delays earlier this year, and their operations stopped. Uh, it has also impacted and contributed to ExxonMobil's decision to delay the FID, okay? Which in the best case scenario, we're hoping we will hear more about this in mid next year. Um, um, and I don't know what else. We were also expecting. I was also expecting, and you too. I think the approval of the local content law.
Yes, of course.
At later this year, but unfortunately, it's very unlikely. Let's see what happens next year, right?
Yes, and let's wait for it because I believe, as everyone, the local content law is going to give us a standard for the Mozambican job market. And going back to our talent, um, what do you think is the biggest challenge for the local content to be selected and included on this oil and gas project? What do you feel?
Um, I think one of the main issues is difficulty in having access to relevant information.
Okay.
People don't know where to look for information, or even if it is available, they don't know how to take it, seize it, yeah, use it, and turn it into their advantage, right? Um, Even if there's access to information, I feel that there's a lack of capacity, let's say, or ability for people to research the needs in the market. Because if you want to find your opportunity or your break, right, being it as a company or a job seeker, you need to be able to research and identify a need in the market and turn it in an opportunity, and in where you can provide a solution or even be the solution for that problem. So there seems to be a lack of capacity in that aspect as well. So what I usually recommend, especially to undergraduates that sometimes find me through LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. And some people try to network with me. They they ask me, listen, what can I do? I'm new to the job market. I don't have any experience. I have the degree, I have the diploma in my hand, and I apply, but I don't know how I can make it and break it in this industry or any other industry. And what I usually tell them is, listen, you have to, stay connected, network with people that are more experienced than you. Ask for an internship, ask for mentorship. Okay, find a mentor because there are many people out there who have experience but don't have anyone to share it with, basically, and they're actually very keen in doing that and helping um, less experienced people develop their skills.
And I believe do some self-assessment to try to identify their strengths and how they can contribute to the sector. We also, as a recruitment company, we have many candidates that come to us and ask, okay, I have experience, I have many certificates, and what can I do to be a part of this project, to work with us. And one thing that we suggest is that you must stand out. You must show yourself to the world. You must do internship, volunteer work, for example. And as you mentioned, Maira, do network. We have many people that has experience, are on this sector, and yeah, they're looking for someone to guide, to share their knowledge. So from your experience, I'm seeing here Stella, um, happy with the good news. Yes, with the COVID is bad for us, but always gives opportunities. And how do you feel, Maira? What do you think that helped you to get there in the in this sector? And what are the practical advice you can give for those who want to set off in a similar direction?
Um, well, I like to think that I followed a very, regarding my whole career as a whole, I followed a very basic rule of life, which is we are all responsible for our actions and the results, consequences of those actions. Meaning that only you and you alone can identify your opportunity or identify when to act and move towards your goals. This doesn't mean that you should do it alone, of course. In this day and age, there is no, I don't think there's an individual or a collective of individuals that can actually say, I went from point A to Z by myself.
Yeah.
So, but you do need to envision yourself in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5, 10 years, and identify your career goals and know who to approach, who to ask for help and guidance. So this is what I basically did in the last 10 years that I've been active in the job market. I have adapted my skills. I have um, um,
Yes, you
in the
manage to adapt yourself in terms of what the market needs, and I think this goes along to the Stella's question that asked, how can a young person with a poor upbringing go about doing an effective network? And because they have a limited access of this kind of information, and how they can I share with the same thoughts as Mahira. We can connect to other people who has more experience on this sector. And yeah, we have Paloma shared the same question, and how do we improve the capacity of those who lack with the experience is compulsory. Do you want to share something?
well, I think you cannot just, let's say you are recent graduates, right? You can't just jump, or you can, but it's rarely happens like that. You don't jump from school to um, a position in the job market when they're asking you to have which is happening now, at least in the past 10 years, and I feel it. They ask a recent grad, or they want to pay a recent grad salary, but ask for 5 to 10 years experience, and this won't go well, or it won't happen at all. So what I recommend is that young people and recent grads volunteer to work at their company, a company that they feel will help them develop their skills or help them get this experience. Do some volunteer work or do an internship. Again, find a mentor. It doesn't have to be someone that is from your school or working at the company that you aspire to work for. But sometimes it's someone that doesn't necessarily even work in the field of study, but has the life experience and professional experience to guide someone else. So try to approach these people. And through this, let's say you do an internship of 6 months or a year, you already acquire many skills, survival skills actually in the job market. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are the on-the-job skills that you're going to use for your aspiring position, but it will help you adapt and become more resilient to the changes that you might face in the future.
Yes, of course. And we also have another question here from Dercilia, how to create equality through local content redefinition. I think the local content law will give us more tools, as I mentioned, to have standards regarding salaries, regarding benefits, regarding all the specs related to the local talent. And yeah, Maira, what can you share about your experience? What do you think about what are the effects of job accessibility in the graduate versus technical courses, as Dercilia asked?
Okay.
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
What are the effects of the job accessibility we are facing on these days with COVID?
Um, by graduate, do you mean university courses?
Yes, I believe it's a graduate university, and we have technical courses.
Um, well, I think it works either way. I mean, the accessibility for people that have opted for a technical course or a university degree, the difficulties I think are the same. Okay, many of these people, it's almost mandatory that for them to be recruited, they must be registered in some kind of online platform, for example, or being it of the employer directly or the recruitment company, such as you guys are at Pre. You must be registered and undergo a series of interviews or evaluations, let's say. And the challenges for me, especially as I've been many times on this local talent and seeking a job, it's a lack of feedback, basically. Because you fill in an application form online, they ask you most of the time to upload your CV. When you upload your CV, you are directed to another page, and this page asks you to actually fill in a bunch of boxes all the work history or academic history. Sometimes it takes you an hour and a half, 2, 3 hours, and it's very discouraging. And the same thing happens either as a technical course candidate or someone with a university degree. Um, it is difficult to have access to jobs now more than ever with the COVID pandemic. But again, sorry, again, all of us, we need to assess our skills and see how we can adapt them in order to serve the needs of the current job market. Okay.
Yes, and this is what we tell all the candidates we have, even they have experience or not, they are recent graduates. You must adapt, upgrade your skills, doing courses, being competitive to the market to meet what this industry needs. Um, so from what are, in a resume, what are the main tips you would give to the young local talent to maximize their presence in the job market, Mozambican job market, for example.
I'm just going to reinforce what I basically said in the last maybe 20 minutes, which is try to keep informed. Information is power. Try to research, identify and explore the needs or problems in the market, so you can maybe become the solution or find the solution to that problem. And by doing that, you will stay relevant in the market. Okay. Um, um, of course, in order to do this, you need to also reevaluate where you are at this point in time in your career. Reevaluate your skills, your ambitions, and change accordingly in order to reach your ambition or your goal. Another thing is connect, be active, do networking, be close to people that are more experienced than you, ask for guidance, volunteer, as Jessica said. So it's basically that. Do you have any tips?
Oh, I think, for example, we always mentioning about improving our skills, and we are not speaking about technical skills. We are
Soft
speaking
skills.
soft skills, of course, and we mainly develop them with these small things. For example, doing volunteer, doing something for other people, and as we are discussing another day, giving someone before asking something in back. And this is a good way we can learn more from others and help us to develop ourselves. And yeah, I think this is an interesting point, and you guys can also use on your daily basis. And Sadia was asking, what do you think that people are failing to do when starting career? And I think the people are not failing, but they're just um, they are not focused yet where to go. They don't understand, and as Amira mentioned, with this guidance they need, they can achieve their goals. And we have another question here. How do you see our local content in the job market in terms of capacity of offer and demand?
I think that this is always and forever. It keeps changing. Um, there are people that approach me on LinkedIn saying, "Listen, I'm very unsure about my future with COVID. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job." And what I usually tell them is, "Listen, don't be discouraged because people are losing jobs, but they are also being hired, especially now with the pandemic, because it has opened. The pandemic has brought many opportunities and in new types of let's say positions of work that did not exist before. Um, uh, I think one thing that may be limiting the capacity for offer is directly linked to the theoretical and technical skills that someone just mentioned in the comments.
Yeah.
In the comments, sorry, I lost track. Because in the oil and gas industry, for example, usually the requirements for a certain vacancy exceed the actual technical skills or theoretical skills of the job applicant. So in turn, this will maybe force the hiring manager to look abroad for someone that has maybe acquired these skills abroad or is actually working, and technical skills, working abroad to fill in that gap because our local content cannot cater for it. So this is something unfortunate, but I think that we see now more people capable to fill these positions than there were maybe 5 years ago.
Yes. And do you think your international exposure has helped you to open your mind and help others to join other opportunity on the sector? Because as Stella is commenting here, sometimes we wait for opportunities to come instead of creating them for ourselves.
Definitely. I was just to answer Stella's question. She's asking if my international exposure, sorry, helped me open my mind. Definitely helped. Because before I also had this idea uh, during my entire studies since first grade that once you get the diploma, doors will open for you. It's not true. That's not one thing does not necessarily mean the other. So it helped me get out of my comfort zone and helped me develop the ability to think for myself. Because before I think people were feeding me, this is my opinion, okay? I'm not sure if it's applicable to any of you, but before some of our teachers, our even our bosses, I was working already at the time when I went abroad, were feeding us information or selected information that they were comfortable with a spoon basically in my mouth. And this is never good because you need to question whatever people are feeding you, right? Whatever information, because sometimes they might not be giving you the entire spectrum of information. They might be hiding things from you, or you might be just absorbing um, information that is limited to their experience. So it by going abroad, it forced me interacting with other cultures, it, changing completely my field of study because I went from engineering to building and urban design, which I at the time I considered to be the a common ground between architecture and engineering. And by the way, when I was 5, I wanted to be an architect. So it definitely helped me, Stella.
I think this is what Maires is passing to us, the importance of adapt yourself to the market for what market really needs. And yeah, we are about to finish, but we have time for some questions, and we have Palomas. How do we reinform opportunities in our local content, provided our current opportunity does not necessarily support our local people?
Good question, Paloma. And I will, to be honest, this is also a question that I have. And again, as Jessica mentioned a couple of times today, I think that what will help us really grasp the challenges for the next year or so is the framework of the local content law. Once this is approved, I think we will be better armed and be able to understand what it local content really implies for us. Because right now, I think it is just a bunch of at least I think there are two local content policies that are being reviewed. And that were going to be an origin for this law, but they just mention quotas that for these projects there must be a, I don't know if it's 10, if it's 15%, I don't remember, a quota of local content being hired. Apart from that, I don't know anything else. Do you?
Okay. No, actually, I was seeing here, and I'm happy because we have another civil and transport engineer. Maybe with some thoughts that Maida shared, is going go to similar paths, going into oil and gas industry, for example. And we are about to finish, but we have one more question from Kathy. Do you have recommendations, Maira, on where to get information or resources to be more informed and prepared? For example, some blog sites.
Well, to be honest, I've searched um, the actual operators' sites, websites such as Total and CCS JV and ExxonMobil's and ENH as well, INP. But I'm gonna tell you that the best place where you can obtain relevant information, at least in my experience, I find it to be indispensable, is the LinkedIn platform. Invest some time in the LinkedIn platform. Okay, I've been doing a lot of networking on LinkedIn. I've contacted people that I've never met them in person because they are living in another country or in another province or in another city. But we managed to exchange ideas and opinions, and I also participate in online conferences that they seem to be in vogue now because of the pandemic.
Yes.
So participate in online conferences, online webinars such as this one. I think that's a much, those platforms are much more enriching than actually being digging in the developers' websites.
Yes, and you can come to us and ask for more details. Mahira can share also. So yeah, we're out of time. The conversation was good, but the time is short.
Yes.
So thank you, Maira, once again
Thank you,
for
Jessica.
being
And
here.
thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for being here with us, for the questions, for your comments, and I see you. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you in the next webinar. If you have any other questions, we are going to share our contacts, and you can send to us. Okay. Thank you once again. Bye. See you in the next webinar.
Bye.
Bye.